In the dead of night, under the shadow of a full moon, the village of Olo sleeps, or at least tries to. The thick mist rolls through the streets, cloaking the village in an eerie quiet. But for some, the night is anything but peaceful. Whispered voice, "Do you hear that?" A villager peers into the darkness, eyes wide with fear. The air is heavy, oppressive, as if something ancient and malevolent lurks just beyond the edges of the light. It's the sound that keeps them awake, the low, rhythmic beating of a drum. But this is no ordinary drum. It's a sound only a few can hear, a haunting rhythm that grips their minds and slowly, painfully, drives them mad. Kwame, sitting alone in his small workshop, tools scattered around him. Kwame is one of those few, a simple craftsman, known for his skill with wood and stone. Kwame was once a respected man in Olo, but now, his hands shake as he works. His face, haggard and pale, shows the wear of sleepless nights. He's heard the drum for weeks, and each night, it grows louder, more insistent. The village square during the day, bustling with people going about their business. The village itself seems unaware. During the day, everything appears normal. The market is alive with the sound of bartering, children play in the streets, and life goes on. But at night, those who hear the drum become prisoners in their own homes. It's a sound that eats away at the mind, never stopping, never slowing. Some say it's a curse, others a bad dream, but no one dares to speak of it openly. Kwame returns home in the evening, rubbing his temples as the sound of the drum grows stronger in his ears. Kwame's wife watches him from the doorway. She knows something is wrong, though he refuses to tell her. He hasn't been the same since the night he first heard the drum. She's tried to help him, tried to pull him back from the edge of whatever madness grips him. But the harder she tries, the more distant he becomes. A group of villagers gathered at the edge of the forest, whispering nervously. They say the drum comes from deep within the forest. The elders warn everyone to stay away, that the forest has always been cursed. Long ago, a powerful chieftain was betrayed by his own people, and in his final act of vengeance, he summoned a drum that would torment the guilty forever. But the guilty have long since died, and now, it seems the drum has returned to claim new victims. Kwame stands at the edge of the village, staring into the dark trees. He knows he can't ignore it any longer. The sound is consuming him, pulling him toward the forest. His work is suffering, his relationships are crumbling, and the villagers are starting to whisper behind his back. Some say he's cursed, others say he's just going mad. But Kwame knows the truth. The drum is real, and if he doesn't stop it, it will destroy him. Kwame looks back at his house one last time before disappearing into the forest. The path ahead is uncertain, and the dangers are unknown, but Kwame is determined. He will find the source of the drum, no matter the cost. What he doesn't know is that the price may be far higher than he ever imagined. In the dead of night, under the shadow of a full moon, the village of Olo sleeps, or at least tries to. The thick mist rolls through the narrow streets, cloaking the village in an eerie quiet. But for some, the night is anything but peaceful. Whispered voice, "Do you hear that?" A villager peers into the darkness, eyes wide with fear. The air is thick, oppressive, as if something ancient and malevolent lurks just beyond the edges of the light. It's the sound that keeps them awake, the low, rhythmic beating of a drum. But this is no ordinary drum. It's a sound only a few can hear, a haunting rhythm that grips their minds and slowly, painfully drives them mad. Another voice joins the whisper. It's getting louder. Kwame, sitting alone in his small workshop, tools scattered around him. Kwame is one of those few, a simple craftsman known for his skill with wood and stone. Kwame was once a respected man in Olo, but now, his hands shake as he works. His face, haggard and pale, shows the wear of sleepless nights. He's heard the drum for weeks, and each night, it grows louder, more insistent. No one else in his family hears it, but Kwame can't escape it. The sound follows him, whether at home or in his workshop. The rhythm is always there, gnawing at the edges of his sanity. The village square during the day, bustling with people going about their business. The village itself seems unaware. During the day, everything appears normal. The market is alive with the sound of bartering, children play in the streets, and life goes on. But at night, those who hear the drum become prisoners in their own homes. It's a sound that eats away at the mind, never stopping, never slowing. Some say it's a curse, others a bad dream, but no one dares to speak of it openly. The village elder, a woman named Amma, speaks in hushed tones to a group of villagers. It's been decades since anyone heard the drum, she says, her voice trembling. And now it's back. Kwame returns home in the evening, rubbing his temples as the sound of the drum grows stronger in his ears. Kwame's wife, Abini, watches him from the doorway. She knows something is wrong, though he refuses to tell her. He hasn't been the same since the night he first heard the drum. She's tried to help him, tried to pull him back from the edge of whatever madness grips him. But the harder she tries, the more distant he becomes. She calls out to him, "Kwame, you need rest. Come to bed." But Kwame doesn't respond. The drum is louder now, almost deafening, but only to him. He grits his teeth, trying to block it out, but it's no use. A group of villagers gathered at the edge of the forest, whispering nervously. They say the drum comes from deep within the forest. The elders warn everyone to stay away, that the forest has always been cursed. Long ago, a powerful chieftain was betrayed by his own people, and in his final act of vengeance, he summoned a drum that would torment the guilty forever. But the guilty have long since died, and now, it seems the drum has returned to claim new victims. One of the villagers, an older man with a weathered face, speaks softly. It's not just a sound, it's a warning. For those who can hear it, the drum is calling them. His voice drops to a whisper, calling them to their doom. Kwame stands at the edge of the village, staring into the dark trees. He knows he can't ignore it any longer. The sound is consuming him, pulling him toward the forest. His work is suffering, his relationships are crumbling, and the villagers are starting to whisper behind his back. Some say he's cursed, others say he's just going mad. But Kwame knows the truth. The drum is real, and if he doesn't stop it, it will destroy him. Kwame looks back at his house one last time before disappearing into the forest. A gust of wind blows through the trees, carrying the faint echo of the drum. The deeper Kwame walks into the forest, the louder it becomes, each beat reverberating through his chest. His heart races as the path ahead grows darker, more twisted. Shadows dance between the trees, and the air grows colder, heavier with every step. For a moment, Kwame hesitates. He could turn back. He could leave the village, leave the curse behind. But something inside him won't let him. The drum has chosen him, and there's no escaping it. The path ahead is uncertain, and the dangers are unknown. But Kwame is determined. He will find the source of the drum, no matter the cost. What he doesn't know is that the price may be far higher than he ever imagined. Kwame's memory of the first night he heard the drum. The night was darker than usual. Kwame had been in his workshop, finishing a sculpture for the village's harvest festival. The sound came faintly at first, like a heartbeat in the distance. He had stopped working, wiping sweat from his brow, convinced it was just his own pulse ringing in his ears. But then the beat had grown louder, more distinct. Flashback fades to present time. Now it's no longer faint. The drum is relentless, its rhythm seeping into his dreams, haunting his every waking moment. Others in the village have heard of Kwame's affliction. They whisper when he passes by. They avoid his home, calling it cursed, afraid that the sound might spread to their ears as well. Kwame, once admired for his skill and kindness, is now an outcast, marked by the invisible sound that only he and a few others can hear. The forest looms ahead, its dark canopy hiding untold mysteries. Kwame takes a deep breath as he steps into the woods, his heart racing, the drum's rhythm guiding his every move. The deeper he walks, the louder the beat becomes, reverberating through the earth itself. Kwame meeting with the village elders. Desperate for answers, Kwame had visited the elders of Olo before setting out. They had been reluctant to speak of the drum, their faces dark with fear. Among them was Amma, the eldest and the most revered in the village. Amma's voice had been barely a whisper as she spoke, the drum you hear is no ordinary sound. It is a curse that has haunted this village for generations. Long ago, the chieftain of our ancestors ruled with an iron fist. His people, desperate to escape his cruelty, betrayed him, handing him over to his enemies. But before he was taken, the chieftain cursed them all. He had his most skilled craftsman carve a drum from the wood of the sacred baobab tree, a drum that, when played, would summon the spirits of the restless dead. Emma's eyes had filled with sorrow as she continued. The drum was buried with the chieftain, deep in the heart of the forest. It was said that only those with a guilty soul could hear its beat, but over time, even the innocent began to hear it. Kwame had listened intently, his mind racing with questions. He wasn't guilty of anything, at least, nothing that would warrant such a curse. But the drum had chosen him, and that much was clear. Amma had warned him not to go looking for it. Many have tried, she said, but none have returned. The forest does not let go of those it claims. Kwame trekking deeper into the forest. But Kwame had no choice. The drumbeat was unbearable, driving him to the edge of madness. He needed to find it, to silence it, no matter the cost. The forest around him grows denser, the trees twisting into unnatural shapes, their branches reaching out like skeletal hands. The ground is uneven, littered with the remnants of those who have come before him. Broken pottery, rusted tools, and bones, scattered and forgotten. Kwame encountering strange phenomena in the forest. As he walks, the air grows colder, and the forest grows quieter. The usual sounds of birds and insects have disappeared, replaced only by the ever-present drumbeat. Shadows flit between the trees, just beyond his vision. For a moment, he thinks he hears voices, soft whispers calling his name. But when he turns, there's nothing. Suddenly, a gust of wind rushes past him, knocking him off balance. He stumbles and catches himself on a nearby tree. But when he looks down, his hand is stained with something dark. Blood? No, it's sap, thick and black, oozing from the tree's bark like a wound. The forest itself seems to be bleeding. Kwame presses on, his fear mounting with every step. He knows that he's not alone here, that something is watching him. The drumbeat grows louder, almost deafening now, and with it comes a terrible realization. Whatever is tied to the drum is not of this world. Kwame discovering an ancient shrine deep in the forest. After what feels like hours of walking, Kwame stumbles upon a clearing. In the center stands an ancient stone shrine, overgrown with vines and moss. The symbols carved into the stone are old, older than the village itself, but Kwame recognizes them from the stories his grandfather used to tell him. This is it, the resting place of the cursed drum. Kwame approaches the shrine, hesitant but determined. He steps forward, his heart pounding in his chest. As he gets closer, the drumbeat becomes almost unbearable, each beat shaking the ground beneath his feet. He reaches out, his fingers brushing the cold stone, and suddenly, everything goes silent. For the first time in weeks, there's no drumbeat, just silence. Kwame standing in the clearing, confused and anxious. But the silence is more terrifying than the sound. Kwame knows that something is about to happen, something he's not prepared for. Suddenly, the air around him grows heavy, and the shadows cast by the trees begin to move. From the corner of his eye, he sees figures, ghostly apparitions emerging from the trees, their eyes glowing with an unnatural light. These are the spirits the drum has summoned, the souls of the cursed. They surround him, their voices whispering in unison, "You shouldn't have come." Kwame's heart races as he realizes the truth. The curse isn't just tied to the drum. It's tied to the spirits of the betrayed chieftain's people, bound to the forest by their guilt and the chieftain's final act of vengeance. He takes a step back, but the spirits move closer, their voices growing louder, more insistent. The drum cannot be silenced. Kwame standing his ground. But Kwame refuses to believe that. He's come too far, endured too much to turn back now. He tightens his grip on the stone shrine, his mind racing. There must be a way to end this. The elders had said the drum was buried with the chieftain. If he can find it, maybe, just maybe, he can destroy it. The spirits continue to close in, their forms flickering like smoke. Kwame knows he doesn't have much time. He must find the drum before it finds him. The spirits are gone, but their presence lingers, their whispers echoing in Kwame's mind as he stumbles through the forest. The drum beat, once deafening, is now softer, like a heart slowing after a frantic chase. But Kwame knows this is no reprieve. The forest is playing tricks on him, lulling him into a false sense of security. Kwame experiencing hallucinations. As Kwame presses on, the world around him begins to warp. The trees bend and twist in unnatural ways, their branches stretching toward him like claws. The ground shifts beneath his feet, making every step feel like a struggle. He tries to focus, to keep moving forward, but the forest is relentless. The line between reality and nightmare begins to blur. Kwame sees things that can't be real. Figures from his past, long-dead relatives calling out to him, pleading for his help. His hands are covered in blood, though he doesn't know where it came from. And through it all, the drum beat persists, a constant reminder that he's not alone. Kwame collapsing in the forest, exhausted and overwhelmed. Kwame collapses to his knees, his body trembling from exhaustion. He can't go on much longer. The forest is winning, and the curse is taking its toll. But just as he's about to give up, something catches his eye, a glimmer of light in the distance. It's the drum. Kwame stumbles through the underbrush, drawn toward the faint light ahead. His heart races as he pushes past the last of the twisted trees, emerging into a clearing. There, half buried in the earth, is the source of the cursed drum beat, a large, ancient drum, its surface cracked and worn from centuries of decay. Despite its age, the drum pulses with a dim, otherworldly glow, as if alive. Kwame approaching the drum, his breath shaky. The air is thick with tension, and Kwame can feel the weight of countless eyes watching him. The spirits are close, lurking just out of sight, waiting to see what he will do. The drum's beat is slow now, almost gentle, as if inviting him to come closer. Kwame kneels in front of the drum, reaching out a hand to touch its surface. As soon as his fingers graze the drum, a flood of memories that aren't his own rushes through his mind. He sees the faces of those who came before him, the villagers who tried to stop the drum, only to be consumed by the curse. Their suffering, their madness, it's all laid bare before him. Suddenly, a voice speaks, not from the drum, but from deep within Kwame's mind. You seek to silence me, but you do not understand. This curse cannot be undone without a sacrifice. The voice is cold, ancient, and filled with malice. It speaks of the chieftain's betrayal, of the blood that was spilled to create the drum, and of the countless souls it has claimed over the years. Kwame's heart sinks as he realizes the full truth. The drum was never meant to be silenced. It was created to be eternal, a punishment that would last as long as the land itself. Kwame standing, pulling away from the drum in horror. The voice continues, "You cannot destroy me, but you can quiet the drum, for a price." Kwame clenches his fists. What price? He asks aloud, though no one is there to answer. The ground beneath his feet trembles, and the spirits surrounding the clearing begin to materialize once again, their eyes glowing with an eerie light. The voice returns, harsher now. A life must be given to break the curse. Your life, or the life of another. Kwame staggers backward, his mind reeling. Is this the choice he must make? His life, in exchange for peace in the village. He thinks of his wife, his family, and the life he had before this nightmare began. He thinks of the innocent villagers, the children, who would be spared if he ended the curse. But what if he doesn't make the sacrifice? What if the curse spreads, claiming more and more lives, leaving the village in ruin? The spirits circle closer, their whispers growing louder. The drum beat begins to quicken again, matching the frantic rhythm of Kwame's heart. He knows there is no escape now. The curse is bound to the drum, and the only way to end it is with blood. Kwame kneeling by the drum once more, tears streaming down his face. He knows what he must do. He has come too far, endured too much, to turn back now. But the thought of leaving his family behind is unbearable. He closes his eyes, taking a deep, shaky breath, and whispers a prayer for strength. "Forgive me," he says, before raising his hand toward the drum. As Kwame's hand hovers above the drum, a bright flash of light fills the screen. For a moment, time seems to stand still. The drum goes silent. The spirits vanish. The forest around him is deathly quiet, as if holding its breath. And then, with a single final beat, the drum shatters, its pieces scattering across the clearing like shards of glass. Kwame falls to the ground, his body limp, the life drained from him. But the curse is broken. The drum has been silenced, and the spirits have been freed from their eternal torment. The village will be safe now, but the price has been paid. The village the next morning. The sun rises over Olo, casting long shadows across the village square. The villagers wake to a strange, unfamiliar sensation: silence. For the first time in weeks, there is no drumbeat. The curse is gone. Cut to Kwame's wife, Abeni, standing at the edge of the forest. Abeni waits by the forest, her heart heavy with dread. She knows Kwame has not returned, but she holds onto a flicker of hope that he will emerge from the trees, alive and well. Hours pass, but he never comes. Cut to Abeni dropping to her knees in the dirt, tears streaming down her face. Abeni's heart shatters as she realizes the truth. Kwame is gone, but his sacrifice has saved them all. She whispers his name into the silence, her voice trembling. Kwame. Section 5. The Final Sacrifice. 25 to 30 minutes. Narration. Kwame's sacrifice has brought peace to the village, but it comes at a heavy cost. The villagers gather in the square to honor him, to tell the story of his bravery. His name will be remembered for generations, a symbol of hope and courage in the face of darkness. Cut to the village elders standing by a makeshift memorial in the center of the square. Amma, the village elder, speaks softly to the crowd. Kwame gave his life so that we may live free from the curse. We must never forget his sacrifice. The drum is silenced, but let us always remember its lesson. Narration. The lesson of the drum is clear. Some evils cannot be undone without a price. Kwame's journey reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming darkness, there is light to be found in selflessness. His bravery saved the village, but his story is one of tragedy as well. Kwame's home, where Bengi stands alone by the window, staring out at the forest. Life in the village slowly returns to normal, but for Abeni, the world will never be the same. She misses Kwame every day, but she knows that his spirit watches over her, protecting her just as he did in life. As the sun sets on Olo, the villagers light candles in memory of Kwame the hero. The drum may be silent, but its story will live on in the hearts of the people. And so, the legend of the silent drum comes to an end, a story of betrayal, of sacrifice, and of the courage it takes to face the unknown. In the quiet of the night, as the wind whispers through the trees, the village of Olo rests easy, knowing that their protector Kwame watches over them still. If you were moved by Kwame's story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this chilling tale, and join us next time for more mysterious legends and untold stories from around the world.